So I was talking to one of my friends and I was telling him that how I manage my money on a daily basis. And he was not doing those things. And in fact, he found it helpful. So I thought, why not make a video outlining few tips and tricks that you can employ in order to make your day-to-day financial management very simple and very easy, right? So the first thing that I do or I have done is that I have two bank accounts. So one is a primary account and the other is a secondary bank account. Now with my primary bank account, I manage all my income and investments, right? And the secondary account is for all the expenses or all the expenditures, even if I'm buying some gadgets or anything like that. Now, how does this help to first of all manage my money? As soon as I get income, my first transaction has to be make an investment, right? This is another very simple trick is that before you spend, you should invest, right? If you want to prepare or if you want to go towards a financially stronger position. So as soon as I get my money, then my first transaction is to invest a particular amount of money based on the income and based on the investment plan that I have made. Right? If you don't know where to invest that money, then a good idea would be to just let that money stay in the account till you make a financial plan. And then I transfer a specific amount of money every month from my primary account to my secondary account. Right? So let's assume that you're earning about 40,000 every month, right? And your expenses are about 12 to 15,000 a month. So as soon as you get the income of 40,000, then your first transaction could be to make an investment of 10,000, right? And then you could transfer 15,000 or slightly more than that, 17 or 18,000 to your other bank account from which you manage all these expenses. So since I've separated the bank accounts, or I know that all my expenses are going through this bank account, so the balance that I transfer into this account automatically sets a limit on how much money I can spend. So this way I'm able to effectively set a barrier on the maximum money that I can spend in a month or whatever periodic way that you choose to transfer your money. Now, the important thing here is to understand that several accounts might have a minimum balance requirement. So it is important that you keep whatever balance is there in your account should be above that minimum balance. If it falls below the minimum balance for a few days, it's okay. But on an average, the account balance should not fall below the minimum balance, else you might have to pay penalty or charges or whatever the bank might incur, right? So two bank accounts, one for income and investments, and the other is for all the expenses. Now, if you want, then you can use the primary account also for the necessary expenses, stuff like rent, electricity, water, internet, and the other account for all the discretionary expenses, right? So even buying gadgets, buying clothes, going out to eat, have fun, and all the money that you basically spend on these items that could be spent through the other secondary account, right? So this has actually helped me very well because I'm always making purchases from the other account and I see the account balance. So I know that, okay, this is the amount of money that I can spend with regards to that. So this is one way to, organize the way that you spend money and organize how you store your money. And with my primary bank account, I mean, the balance actually keeps get accumulating here. So it also, serves another purpose of saving the money. So income, investments, and savings as well. Now, the second thing to do is to record everything. Like this is very, very important because mostly what we have are estimates of how much money we are spending. Usually income is pretty certain, but about the amount of money that we're spending, we have estimates. Okay, this much on this much on this, but we don't have exact figures. And I think that's slightly lazy on our part. So we can probably spend some more effort, to record all the transactions. Mostly there are expense transactions only, right? Because with income there are only a couple of transactions, so if you're doing a job then maybe just one transaction every month, right? But there are plenty of, there could be anywhere between even 80 to 100 to 120 transactions of expenses every month. So that is why it is very important to track. If you want to learn how to analyze expenses, I've already made a video and a whole series on personal finances, so you can check that out. But the important basic thing here is to first of all record all those expenses and so that you can analyze them further, right? Now there are plenty of ways you can do that. You can do it in a money management app. You could basically just create a self WhatsApp group and message there, but you won't be able to do the analysis. Or you could also create an Excel template. So whichever way works out fine for you, please use that way. But it is important to record all those expenses Ideally record it in such a format that you can analyze them later. So probably an app, money management app, or you could create your own Excel template also to go about with it, right? Now again, the important thing that I want to talk about is that how do you plan any expenses that you're going to incur in the future, right? So a lot of times what we would have is this temptation to keep buying new and new things, right? Because let's say I have these earphones, but a new good set of earphones come out and I'm like, okay, let me buy this, but I don't really need it and I can defer that purchase. So instead of buying things instantaneously, it's good to, probably add it to your wish list or defer the purchase of this, right? So effectively what you're basically doing is you're planning that purchase. And what you'd notice is a lot of times you would not even end up buying that thing because you figure out, okay, I don't really need it. And so the question here is, for which things should you set this habit or should you set this limit, right? So what I do is I have my overall monthly budget, right? This is the total amount of money that I'm going to spend in each month. If there is any item that probably exceeds, let's say 10% of that amount. So let's say your monthly expenses are 30,000. And if you're going to buy anything that's over 3,000, right? So in that case, I think it's a good idea to just hold on to that purchase unless and until it's absolutely necessary. And mostly necessary expenses also carry a high amount. So you already know that. But I'm talking about any sort of discretionary expenses here, right? So it's better if to hold on to or to plan that, that okay, this is when I'm going to spend this money, right? A lot of times what we would do is we would compare the amount of expense to the total income. So let's say you have an income of 80,000 and the expense, but your monthly expenses are thankfully only 30,000. Now you have to buy something that's worth 3,000. So if you compare 3,000 versus 80,000, then the amount doesn't seem significant, right? It seems a very small amount, right? What, it's basically less than even 4%, right? But when you compare 3,000 versus 30,000, it's 10%. And the reason to compare it versus total expenses and not total income, because you're also going to make investments from whatever income that is there, right? So obviously not all the money that you earn is there to spend. A lot of it is to invest and to save as well. So it's good to put into context that what really means what, right? And how should you be comparing and planning your expenses, right? Now you're going to plan expenses, you're going to track expenses, you're going to analyze expenses as well. And we need to make this easier for us. And one very simple hack to make it easier for us is to make payments that could be automatically tracked, which basically means through your debit card, through your UPI or net banking. Try to use as try to minimize the use of cash as much as possible. I know that there are quite a few places where cash is the only way to make a transaction, but you should try to use the alternative methods wherever possible, right? So you could use a wallet, there are plenty of it. You could use a debit card, you could use UPI, and today it is very very convenient to basically use any sort of these digital payment methods, so to speak, because cash is very very easy to cash, it basically slips away very easily. It is very difficult to track because let's say for a week you don't write down your expenses, and then you spend most of your money in cash, and you'd be just thinking, okay, where did this money go? But with a debit card or with an online wallet, you automatically can have this statement, and then you can even record it later. So that is obviously a very important thing. Now, finally, what I want to talk about are credit cards. Now, I'm not really a very big fan of credit cards, especially when we're just starting our careers, because I understand that you get credit and it's practically interest free if you don't make any delinquencies. But credit cards are really, made to encourage consumption or made to encourage you to spend more money. And that is not our objective. Our objective is to basically control our spending and to make more investments. So unless and until you're extremely financially disciplined, right, you don't fall into that temptation of buying more things. If you are there, then probably you can use a credit card. But if you are, still you fall into that temptation, oh, let me just buy this, then I think it's a better idea to use debit cards and not credit cards, and also set a limit on the account through which you're using the debit card, so you automatically can control your expenses. So these are a few tips and tricks that I follow, basically a sort of small system that I've created, in order to streamline finances and make decisions easy, especially to control my urge to spend more money on things that I might not necessarily need. So I hope this can help you. If you find this helpful, then please apply these tips and tricks, and also share it with a friend who might find it helpful. If you want to discuss about more on these personal finance tips and tricks, then please let me know and I'd be happy to help.